everybody. Are you looking for some free science fiction and fantasy books to get you through the winter chills? We've got them. Because every Friday we read the first few chapters of each of the top 5 free fantasy and sci-fi books on Amazon. Today's list includes apocalypses, vampires, and a romantasy from a USA Today best-selling author. But before we get to that, hi everybody, welcome back to the MetaStellar YouTube channel. My name is Maria KOROLOV. I'm the editor here at MetaStellar, and today we were helped out with the reviews with Alex KOROLOV, Hannah M, and E.S. Foster, and Emma is here with us today. Hi, Emma.
Hey,
All right, so we do these every Friday, so if you don't want to miss any of them, like, subscribe. We also have a newsletter, and the newsletter subscription link is in this description box below as well. And let's get into the books. So let's going to start out with book number 5 and count down to book number 1. And let me make that a little bit bigger for you before Emma tells you about it. So this book is titled Displaced. It's by Stephen Drake, and it's the first of 3 books in the Displaced post-apocalyptic science fiction series. The other books are $3 each, and they're not in Kindle Unlimited. And Kindle Unlimited is where you pay $12 a month and you read all the books you want. Well, this book series is not in that. The author has been on our Free Friday list before. In fact, this very book has been in the #1 slot on this list twice already. It's a popular book, thousands of raving reviews. So Alex read this for us. And since Alex isn't here with us today, Emma, can you tell us what Alex thought of the book?
so he had a lot of thoughts on this book, and he said that it's about the sci-fi story. It's about a small group of humans who wake up from suspended animation in this transport pod, and now they have to survive on a strange new planet. So he says that if you like stories of survival or sci-fi where humans explore alien worlds, this book is for you. He said he liked it, and he would keep reading to learn more about like the new planet, the world, what's all going on. And he said that the characters were also interesting. So he kind of wanted to see what happened to them. So he says the first few chapters are about people getting to know each other, how 2 people in particular don't get along. And Kevin Murdoch is one of the protagonists. He's this outdoorsy survivalist type who knows how to hunt and fish. He quickly learns that the animals on the new planet are like Earth's creatures, but bigger. So another character, James Whittier, he's a politician on Earth. He quickly takes charge of a small group of colonists and at the same time becomes Murdoch's enemy. So the two just don't get along, and that's basically what he was talking about earlier, like how these 2 characters don't get along and how their relationship develops from there. So Alex says that if you like this kind of specific type of sci-fi where it's exploring these different worlds, it kind of gives me like La Brea vibes, that TV show. He says to check this one out.
All right, thanks. Okay, now let's go on to book number 4 on today's list. Here we go. And let me make that one a little bit bigger for you guys. Okay, The Bohannon Witches by Emily Bex is a box set of both books in the Bohannon Witches duology, a paranormal romance series. The other books are $4 each. And again, they're not in Kindle Unlimited, and the author has been on our Free Friday list before. And I read the beginning of this book. So from the cover and the description of the book, I was thinking it might be urban fantasy, which was one of my favorite genres, or something like the television series Charmed, which I also love, watched the whole series probably more than once. So the story is set in Charleston. Eilish, our protagonist, is sitting on the porch of her house. She's drinking her iced tea. It's a hot day. She's wearing a skimpy sundress, and a man walks by and takes her picture. And she stands up to go back inside, but before she does, she glances back, sends out a wave of energy, and the man's phone falls to the sidewalk and breaks because she hates tourists. Like, yes. Okay, so inside the air conditioning is on, so it's nice and cool. But Eilish's 2 sisters are home and they're bickering. And we learn that the 3 of them run a new age shop in town, and a new shipment of stock has arrived, and the sisters have to go in on what's normally their day off in order to stock the shelves. And Eilish isn't happy about the oldest sister ordering them both around. And the oldest sister is very bossy. And that means something coming from me. I'm the eldest of 6 kids. So I spent my whole life bossing people around. And this oldest sister is too bossy even for me. And then the oldest sister's boyfriend shows up. He also has magical powers. And after a bit more bickering, the two of them leave. And the two youngest sisters are stuck at the shop by themselves to do all the work. So I'm immediately thinking that these two youngest sisters need to get on with their lives, need to move out of their family house, get real jobs, get out from under this like awful domineering big sister. And in the next chapter, we learn that the big sister, whose name is Serafina, is the most powerful witch in Charleston, and she's also a high priestess. And that makes her boyfriend automatically the high priest, and they like being in charge and they want to keep it that way, even if it means keeping the youngest sister, Eilish, from discovering her full magical potential. And then there's a sex scene between them, and it's magical. And we also learn that the boyfriend is a massive jerk. And I'm thinking she needs to break up with him and also get a life. But anyway, um, so so he wants to see Eilish, the youngest sister, paired off with someone she doesn't like because it's going to make her easier to control. And Serafina actually thinks it's a good idea. So there's a lot of family drama here. And I'm frustrated that Eilish is letting all this happen while she's wasting her life away, living in the same house where she grew up, working in a shop with her sisters. And the whole plot seems to be romance centered. And I don't like romance centered plots. I like main plots that have action, mystery, murder, or all of those things. This book does remind me a little bit of the television show Charmed, but it's not quite as funny, and Charmed has like more action in every episode. So I don't think I'll be sticking with this book. But if you like romance and family drama, and from what I understand, normal humans do like those things, and you like magical goings on, check it out. You get both books in the series, and they're free. Can't beat that. Okay, next we go on to Secrets of the Catalogue. Let me pull that up. There we go. Secrets of the Catalogue by Amelia Spencer. The first of 4 books in The Librarians, an urban fantasy series. The other books are $3 to $5 each, but they are all in Kindle Unlimited. The 4th book isn't out yet, but it's going to come out at the end of the year in December, and it is available for pre-order. This is the author's first time on our list, and Hannah M. read this for us. And Hannah's not here with us today. So Emma, what did Hannah think of this book?
So it starts out, she says that she loves magical libraries, so she was really excited about this one. And she says that it starts off with the protagonist, Emerson. She has just received a breakup text from her boyfriend. It turns out that he contracted this emergency, like this mystery illness, and became a recluse, distancing himself from Emerson. Like he finally ended things. This is the last straw. So the rest of her night, she's miserable. She's going through this cycle of like crying and drinking. And the next day, she wakes up completely hungover. She's late for her shift at the restaurant where she works. So her friend encourages her to go to a nightclub, forget about the breakup, you know. But on the train home from work, Emerson encounters this tattooed man, and she's unable to shake him from her mind that night. So from his description, he looks like he's going to be somebody who's like a potential new love interest. That's definitely what Hannah thinks. So at the club, Emerson feels disconcerted. She's keen to leave. She's getting the feeling that someone's watching her. That out on the street, the roads are quiet. Only the single bookshop is open, so she decides to go home. However, in the morning, she feels this urge to return to the same area. And Emerson hops on the train. She trusts her intuition to guide her there because I guess she doesn't remember where exactly the club is. And after hours of walking, she turns into a side street, and weirdly, nobody else seems to be there. So apparently this is a very busy part of town, but there's nobody here. So she enters the bookshop that she found, She wanders from shelf to shelf, and then she takes out a book titled The Central Library. Suddenly, this old man appears behind her and lets her take the book for free, so she doesn't have to pay for it. But the meeting's kind of awkward, and Emerson feels very unsettled by it. So Hannah was saying that she loves the mystery, she likes the all the ideas that are going through around in this book, and she's going to continue reading it.
Thanks. Okay, now for something completely different. The Last Signal by Colton Lively. There we go. And I'm going to make this a little bit bigger so you guys can see it. And this is a standalone book of small town post-apocalypse EMP survival, but the author has many, more than 30 other books in this genre, so there's plenty of reading here if you like his style. Nearly all of the books are in Kindle Unlimited. The author is a regular on our Free Friday list, and this genre in general of EMP books, it seems to be hugely popular for some unknown, completely unknown reason. And Alex read this book for us because he loves EMP books, and he has read dozens of these books for us at this point. So an EMP is an electromagnetic pulse that knocks out all electrically powered devices, such as cell phones, computers, most modern planes and cars. And then in these books, chaos ensues because humanity immediately descends into like barbarism and everybody turns on each other and starts shooting. So the book starts with Sally, who's an engineer who's invented some sort of new renewable energy system, and it's going to change the world. And her best friend and coworker, Monica, helped her with this. Both of Sally's parents are dead, but the life insurance policy paid Sally's way through college and provided the money that she needed to start designing her renewable energy technology. And there's a summit coming up in West Virginia where Sally and Monica are going to reveal their designs to the world. However, Monica calls Sally and says that there's some anomalous electromagnetic readings showing some kind of strange interference. And suddenly the phone goes dead in the middle of this conversation. And Sally just thinks it's a bad signal and doesn't worry about it. She gets on her computer, starts preparing for a presentation, which is the following day. The next day she wakes up, she checks her laptop, she looks over the readings her friend Monica was telling her about, and the readings are telling her that an EMP is going to happen. And then it does. A bunch of cars immediately crash outside her window. There's explosions everywhere as everyone keeps crashing into everything else. Airplanes are spinning out of control and crashing as well. People are screaming. And Sally immediately thinks that someone is trying to shut down her project, and that's why they caused the EMP to happen. So a little bit of background knowledge here. An EMP can be caused by solar radiation, by nuclear blast, or by an EMP gun. You could actually stand by the side of the road, point this gun at cars, and cause the electronics to die. This is a technology that already exists. As far as I know, there's nothing out there that can like take airplanes down out of the sky. And Alex also wasn't too convinced about the plausibility of the premise. But Alex says he definitely likes this beginning more than a lot of the other EMP books he's read. And he likes the fact that it's a brilliant scientist developing this awesome technology, and there's a nefarious group that's trying to stop her. Again, a lot of these EMP books are just about crazy survivalists who have stockpiles of guns and canned food. And the minute their phone goes dead, they're like, aha, EMP attack. And they start pulling out their guns and shooting everybody. So this isn't like that. Alex says it's entertaining and it's a little silly, but most EMP books are to some extent. And he says he's going to stick with this. Okay, and before we get to book number 1 on today's list, which is a romantasy by USA Today bestselling author, I would like to thank our Patreon supporters, including Christopher Luby, who is our newest supporter. And I would like to explain to you that MetaStellar is an online magazine of science fiction and fantasy We publish original short stories, excerpts, essays, book reviews, and everything else for free online. And we pay our authors thanks to our Patreon contributors and channel members. All of us volunteer, all of us editors are volunteers, so all the money goes to science fiction and fantasy authors. And we also publish anthologies. We're working on a third anthology now, and Emma's helping edit that one. And the first three are available for order. The fourth one will be released later on this year. And we also have um, mugs you can get and t-shirts. So check that out if you'd like to support original fiction by actual humans. That's their names, the humans, people's names. All right, and I also want to mention that Emma has an editorial services company. She's a book coach. In fact, she's helping me out with a book that I'm working on. And there's some of my books that are available on Amazon. All right, now let's go on to book number 1 on today's list. Ironhold, Trial 1 by Morgan Rice. This is the first of 5 books in the Ironhold Romantasy series by USA Today bestselling author Morgan Rice. The other books are $3 each and they're not in Kindle Unlimited, and the author is a regular on these lists. Emma read this for us. Emma, what did you think of this book?
So this one was a romantasy, but I kind of like where it was going. I like the way it started out and starts off with this prologue. And it's this type of training facility. It's similar to like the Colosseum of ancient Greece. And it's like this fantasy version because gladiators are allowed to use both magic and weapons to fight. So in this world, people possess different kinds of magic, and the gladiators sort of like keep all of these people in the conquered lands under the Empire's control like, in check. So it's established early on that there's this one place that's kind of like ancient Rome where it has conquered all these lands around it. So most of the people who can practice magic are from that land, and then all the other conquered lands are being taken control of, and if anyone happens to have magic who's from those lands, they might be sent to be gladiators and sort of fight in this way to sort of be kept in check in that regard. So one of the older gladiators is there. He prepares to face another gladiator, and he's just begun his training. So this younger one's only been there a little while. The trainer lets it happen because the older man insulted the younger one, and the younger one won't let that stand. So the trainer lets them proceed. He gives them the go-ahead. So the young man starts the fight. He manages to defeat the older one, and the trainer announces that that man is the winner. So it turns out that this is one of the characters that is going to be very valuable to the story later on. But in the meantime, the perspective shifts to Lyra. She lives in this poor fishing village, and she's lives in one of the lands that was conquered that I mentioned. So she's way away from the Empire. She's not really worried about them, and her land was conquered when she was a child. So she hasn't really known any other life. Most of the villagers fish, but at the same time, there are a few magic users. So some people are worried that the Empire might randomly arrive and force them to become gladiators or do whatever else. So Lyra lives with her mother, and one day she's helping stitch up the wounds of the fisherman when suddenly another villager arrives and she explains that there's a bear in the village. So she's running, everyone else is trying to flee to their homes because the bear has already killed a few people. And Lyra decides to step in. It turns out that she has a magical ability to communicate with animals. So she goes outside, she meets the bear, she learns that he's just hungry, so she goes to get some fish, and she brings it to the bear, and the bear eats it, walks back to the woods, doesn't hurt anyone else because all he wanted was some food. And the entire time, this official that is presumably from the Empire watches. And Lyra's mother warns her that displaying magic like that is only going to get her in trouble. She's saying, like, you never know who's going to be watching, and it sounds like that's going to be true. It looks like that's going to be the case for her the more I read. So I really like where this story was headed. I like the idea of like a fantasy version of ancient Greece, and I also like hearing about Lyra and her powers, so I think I might stick around with this one. I know it's romantic fantasy, but if it's more fantasy and less romance, then I think I can get on board with it.
Thanks. Oh, and if anybody out there loves to read romantic fantasy, our regular romantasy reader has gone back to school and she's too busy to do this for us. So if you'd like to help out, please email me. My contact information is in the description box below. And of course, if you want to contribute to MetaStellar, our next submission cycle is in March, but we take reprints, essays, and reviews at any time. Thanks, Emma, for joining me here today. I love the fact that you're here and I have somebody to talk to. Besides just like, anonymous people there behind the camera. Hi, people. And I also want to remind everybody that we have finished serializing Gods and Monsters. And we have 45 installments up on our website that you can read for free. We have the author herself reading all these installments on video. The book is already available for pre-order, and it's going to be officially released on January 21st. And here's a couple of videos to get you started. So thanks, everybody. We'll see you next Friday. Bye-bye.
Bye.